pretty auspicious day, wouldn't you say? This is a incredible weekend that we're coming into right now. The today is numerically 12/20/2020. Kind of interesting, huh? 12/20/2020. It's the last day of the age of Pisces. Tomorrow we enter into the age of Aquarius. So we're having the meditation today to celebrate the end of the Piscean age. And tomorrow we'll have another meditation at 7 o'clock Pacific time to celebrate the Aquarian age. So while we're waiting for people to come on, I'd like to meditate to a Zazen song. It's become one of my favorite. It's called White Magic from the Zazen album, Samadhi. Get this up here so it doesn't blast everybody out. Here we go. Take a breath. Open your eyes if they're closed. Today, we just finished up our 81st verse of the Tao. I think many of you know that for the last 3 months or so, we've been doing a verse of the Tao every day and doing a strange little meditation practice I was inviting everybody to explore. I think many of you would be happy to stop it, but I got a lot out of it. But this weekend is really amazing. I mean, you just get on the internet, you find all kinds of things about this weekend that are really special. Winter solstices are always powerful. At least they have been for me, especially since I started studying with my teacher. So this has always been a powerful time, but this year, my goodness, we have solar eclipses, we have a grand conjunction going on, the Christmas star appearing. See what else is going on. But there's a major shift. And I wanted to talk about the shift. We're moving from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. And the Piscean age was kind of very political, very militaristic. There seemed to be a lot of control, domination, manipulation, and fear. I really think that was the operating system for the Piscean age. And we are moving into the Aquarian age, which is made up of compassion, empathy, compassion, love, selfless giving, selfless service. It also involves balancing ourselves and balancing our planet. In the Piscean age, we saw the rise of science back in the Middle Ages during the Renaissance. There was an opening for science, and many of the scientists were burned at the stake. You had to be careful what you said, because it was the Piscean age, ruled by religion. We're moving into an age that's going to be ruled by science and spirituality, not necessarily religion. I'll be talking a little bit more about that tomorrow night, I hope. But you can kind of see this thing kind of coming to an end here, because even in our own country here, leading up to this time, there was a concerted effort to discredit scientists. During the middle of a pandemic, they're discrediting scientists. And that's a remnant of the Piscean age. And I'm here to let you know that that's passing. It will take a little while. I was looking back on my life. I was born in 1946 in New Mexico. In 1945, about, I don't know, center of the state, same latitude pretty much. In 1945, they set off the first atomic bomb in New Mexico. I was born a little over a year later. In 1947, there was the Roswell crash, not far from where I lived, a couple hundred miles or less than 200 miles. So there was a lot of things going on around the end of World War II, and we immediately entered into the Korean conflict. My whole life, we've had nothing but wars, it seems like. I can't recall of a year where we didn't have some sort of a military conflict. But then something happened, you know, uh, in about 1965, 66, and 67, there was a wave of energy that swept across the world. It spawned a lot of hippies. It spawned the love movement. It spawned all kinds of free thinking and new ways of doing things and being in tune with the earth and being earth quality. And this lasted beautifully for about 2 or 3 years. And then it went away. I've seen young people today try to be hippies. You know, they've got the dress, they've got the hair, they got everything. But they don't have that Aquarian vibe. My teacher said that that time, that what created that was an emanation from the age of Aquarius that was coming upon us. Didn't last very long because it was just a harbinger of what is to come. That really excites me. And I'm feeling this change coming. And I don't know if this change is going to be very quick or if it's going to take 40 years to unfold, but I know it's coming. I know that we're entering into this new, wonderful age, and we should take heart. This is not a time to be in despair. This is a time for joy. Even though everything around us is going crazy, my gosh, you know, if you look at the world right now, it's pretty dicey. Yeah, pretty gnarly. But look beyond it. I believe that people who are opening up and that are open up to evolving up to the next level of awareness, which the entire planet is going to do, that the ones that are open to it will have a good time, and the ones that are resisting it probably will not have a good time. And there will be people, maybe millions of people, who resist this energy, but it's not going to stop it. This evolution is happening, and we cannot stop it. We must learn to accept it and look forward to it and embrace it, because this is such a beautiful time. The Aquarian age is a melding of science and religion, or not religion, but spirituality. Religion is kind of, but spirituality is where I'm coming from. Although I study all the religions and I pick and choose, you know, there's truth in all of it. There's truth in everything, actually. Yeah. Scientists, until coming up to this time, there's been a total disconnect between science and spirituality. Horoscopes, numerology, these things were pretty much scoffed at by scientists because there was not a connection between science and spirituality. And then came along quantum physics, which shook up everything. We know now that everything is connected. There's just one stuff. Everything comes from the nothing. Everything is made of the nothing. And it's evolving. I'm not making any sense at all now, am I? Well, that's good. I'm just trying to convey to you that things are coming together between science and spirituality. They were saying that the energies of the planet don't affect us. They're too far away. And yet we can notice in our Hubble telescope, they can find that there's a planet in another galaxy, another solar system, that has a moon because of the way the planet acts when the moon goes around it. Or there's a planet that's affecting another planet because even though they're millions of miles away from each other, their orbits move just a little bit. Even here, we see the moon affecting us every day. By the tides, it affects the tides. But I think it affects more. Everything is connected. And when you get to the quantum physics level, you're moving now into my world. You're moving into the world of spirituality without the constraints or the dogma of religion. And yet religion has a place. It gives us a structure in which we can talk about it. But there's a coming together, a true coming together. In the Star Wars, they touched on it when they talked about the Force and using the Force. And I think this is pretty close to it. Although I don't know that well, what do I know? I know nothing. But today is the last day of the Piscean age. Control, domination, manipulation, being ruled by fear is going to start to evaporate. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. I would hope it would, but I don't think it's going to. This could take a few years. It's been almost 50 years since the awakening in the 60s. So it could take that long. But in the meantime, things are shifting and changing. The energies that are so strong right now and so concerning politically and economically and with climate changes, there's a lot that can worry us, but I'm just here to tell you that that's coming up right now. It seems really, really strong and all pervasive, but I think you're going to find that these energies that are so gnarly right now, or starting tomorrow probably, are going to start losing their power. Every day, a little less, a little less. And it may take it several months or maybe a year or 2 or 3 years. But once we get through this, it's going to be fine. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfectly correct in everything that I see, but this is what I see. I see things coming out really beautiful. This is why we incarnated, to go through this change, to move to the next level, and in our own way, to be the way showers, I can't even say way showers, to people who are still asleep, just now waking up. Everybody's waking up. I've been doing a little prayer this week. And in that prayer, when I see a country or a person or a political view or a climate issue, but mainly anything that has to do with people and human race, I see that issue being covered with transparency. Like the light of transparency is shown on it. It totally exposes it. And then the next part of my prayer is the awakening. Once it's been shown, then you awaken to it. And when you awaken to that transparency, the next step is the dissolution of the problem, the taking away of the energy that's been so harmful to you. Now, these changes just take place inside of you, okay? But that's monumental. Transparency, to see it all. Everyone around sees it. Everybody sees it. That is whispered in the closets, shouted from the rooftops, and put on Facebook. Transparency. And then there's the awareness, the awakening to what's been going on. And that awakening to what's been going on makes it impossible for it to continue. So when you awaken to the ignorance and suffering, and you start seeing the truth, then those elements and things that were causing pain and destruction and constriction start to dissolve. And in its place is enlightenment. If you do that within yourself, with everyone and everything, as you sit down in your meditation this evening or tomorrow, and you see the world, how does the world look to you? My teacher wrote a song in which he was talking, and he says, he asked the Zen master, what is Zen? And the Zen master said, all of these worlds are shining in my mind. All these worlds. How many worlds are shining in your mind? Are you still full of fear and anger? Do you still want to fight? Do you still want to dominate and control others? Do you still think that you're a victim? How silly. You're not a victim. It's karma. There's no victims. But that's for another time to talk about. Can you forgive everyone that's ever harmed you? Can you make amends for the things you've done? Can you rest in spirit? Can you have everyone shine in your mind? If you have everyone and everything shine in your mind, what influence are you going to have on the world? It's not what you say or do. It's who you are that counts. People say and do things all the time, saying, this is who I am, this is who I am, but that's not who they are. Underneath, they're frightened, or they're angry, or they're vengeful, jealous, whatever. But when all the worlds are shining in your mind, then these constrictions that we felt from the age of Pisces start to fall away inside of us. And when there's enough of us that do this, we reach a critical point. And that critical point is coming up for us tomorrow. I mean, this is really cool stuff. This is why you incarnated, for this time and for the next 2 or 3 years following this. It's not all probably going to just wake up tomorrow and everything will be happy, happy, happy. This is going to take a little while. It took us time to get here. You've watched this world just go crazy for the last year. It may take it another year to unravel itself. But inside of you, you can unravel it right now by touching your spirit, your higher self. I've asked my students and my friends who wanted to play to have a meditation practice for 15 minutes a day, where you just stop your thought. And we wrestle with our thoughts. We stop our thoughts and the energy comes up. Our ego immediately grabs the energy and gives it a direction to go, gives it a memory, gives it a circumstance or a person or a place. Creates this little thought form, and you erase it, go back to no thought. It's very frustrating. But every once in a while, during that 15 minutes, for me anyway, it all broke loose. And I became one with the Tao. And many of you have also. I've heard from you. This isn't just me. There's more to this world than you think. People say, if I can't see it, I don't believe it. Well, I guess they don't believe in microwaves or television waves or even sound waves. There's just one energy and it's alive and it's everywhere. It's in all of the planets. It's in all of the space between the planets. It's in the deepest known regions of space, and it's in your very heart. It is everything, and yet it identifies with no particular thing because it is all. We drop into these little bodies, into our 6-windowed houses. Our little house here has the 5 senses and our mental capacity, and we start putting our little world together based upon the input that we've gotten from everyone and everything around us from birth. We're truly limited in our awareness here by design. We are the blind leading the blind, and we're always falling in a ditch. But some of us are starting to see a little bit. Some of us, the sun is starting to breaking up on the horizon. It's darkest before the dawn. In the middle of the night, through the starlight, as you're walking along the desert, you see terrible things. Monsters off to the right, snakes in front of you. And then the sun starts to arise. It hasn't come up yet, but you can see the light from the sun comes up. And as the light from the sun starts to arise, things that were black and white and shades of gray now become very clear. And you see the monster that was wrestling in the bush was nothing but a rabbit. And that the stick along the path, with the snake along the path, was just a stick. You can see that now because you've awakened. And the sun still hasn't yet. You'll see when it does. And it happens in each one of us. You can be enlightened in this lifetime. We spend most of our time using our creative ability to keep us from getting what we think we want. Oh, I would love to be enlightened, but gosh, I don't know. I don't think I'm ready yet. I'm too gross. I've been too awful. I've been, and you sit and argue yourself right out of it. And I'm saying, don't, just surrender. Just surrender to the Spirit. In your meditation, seek the highest, the most complete awareness. Seek to move beyond your body. Seek to move beyond your mind. Don't let your ego become afraid during your meditations. I'm going to tell you a little secret. For 40, 50 years now, I have tried to lose myself into God. I just go out there. If I lose my mind, I'll go insane. Okay, well, let me be insane. I don't care. I just want enlightenment. And here I am, still as crazy as ever sometimes. But I do have my moments. And the moments are becoming more and more. And they're going to start happening to you too. We're entering into the age of awakening. We're definitely going to be entering into the age of awakening. So our issue as we say goodbye to the old way is to acknowledge that it had its place. And now we're moving into the new age. I invite you to go online and look up the Grand Conjunction and what's going on. Well, there's all kinds of wonderful, magical things happening in the next 24 hours. And that's a good thing to look and to research out. Knowledge is good. I think I would like to meditate to a piece of music here. This piece of music is from the Zazen album, Retrograde Planet, but it is the first one, the original one. And this song is Uranus. And Uranus, I don't know, this song speaks to me. But I'd like for you to just, during this song, is just go within and allow yourself to sail into spirit. Take a breath. Just relax. The Christ that people are waiting to come is already here. It's in you. You must awaken to it. It's not a person. It's not a religion. It is enlightenment. You can do it. I think you're going to find that as time goes on and this new age begins, that your meditations will become a lot more powerful, that you'll become more in tune with the earth, and that you'll start having empathy for the suffering that's going on around you, that will create compassion in your heart instead of a judgment, pity. Compassion is better. Your actions will reflect that consciousness. You won't have to try to be selfless. You just will be. Selfishness, greed, those things are going to start diminishing if you do this right. And so when you do that, it'll be very easy to be of service to others. We need to align with our little planet here, clean it up. Since the industrial age, we have trashed this little planet. During the American conquest of Europeans over the North American continent, they cut down 80% of the trees. They almost destroyed all of the buffalo. The balance of nature was totally upended. We're going to put it right. New technology, new knowledge. It's going to be a wonderful age. It's going to be different and better because you will be better. As you align with this, it's going to be perfect. Take some time tonight. Think about your life, the things that have been in your life, and any negative thoughts or feelings that you don't matter or that you've screwed up so bad you'll never be able to make it in 10,000 lifetimes. You won't work through all of the stuff you've done in this. That's nonsense. Just wake up. You're having a dream. I've seen people scream in the middle of the night. You're going, what's going on? Oh, I guess she's having a dream. Well, open your eyes. You're having a dream. It's the nightmare of the day that Buddha referred to. Wake up. Instead of, like the blind man coming upon the elephant, arguing about what part of that elephant is real and what it's like, you see the whole elephant and you see that everybody is right and everybody is wrong. At the same time, they're wrong only because they don't see the totality. They only have one point of view, and they can't entertain anyone else's point of view because that would threaten their ego. They don't want to be wrong. As they were saying, they say, how can anyone be right if everyone is wrong? How can anyone be wrong if everyone is right? Loosen yourself up a little bit. Meditate deeply. Go with the flow. We just finished 81 days of the Tao. It's all about recognizing the oneness of everything and being in the flow, not pushing or pulling, but flowing along in spirit perfectly. So as this Piscean age starts to tumble down around us, and people who are trying to hold back the tide of change that's coming, you'll see their futility. Their plans won't work. Nothing can stop this ocean. Take heart. These are the good times. It's going to get much, much better. You'll see. I think you'll notice in the next few days that people are friendlier. They'll start saying hi. I've already seen it, actually. I've seen it start building up. In spite of all the things that are going bad, people will drive by me in their car and they'll wave. How cool is that? You go to the park, you're walking your little dog, you see people, everybody's social distancing, but we're all talking to each other. How are you doing? What a wonderful dog you have. And it's a beautiful day. You don't have to hug or shake hands with people to touch them. You can touch them with your smile. You can touch them with your open heart. Be the Buddha. Be a saint. If you can't imagine yourself being a Buddha, imagine yourself as being a saint. That's a good start. So tomorrow, if you're up to it, catch a sunrise. Tomorrow night, before the meditation, go outside, see if the sky is clear enough that you can see the Christmas star on the solstice during the grand conjunction. And I think there's a solar eclipse in the Southern Hemisphere tomorrow. There's a lot going on tomorrow. This is wonderful. This is so amazing. Read up, look up on it, research it. It's an amazing time. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. How amazing is that? And like I say, it's not going to just happen in 24 hours. It may take years, but it's always going to get better. you'll see this energy is so amazing. It's really good. So anyway, lots of good stuff happening. So I've run out of things to say. So I'm going to just meditate for a couple of minutes, then I'll let you go. Center yourself in your heart. Focus on your throat and your third eye. And go with me to the crown. That's good. Namaste.